answering a comment that was made about recognizing pathological relationships. And the commenter said, what if you're in a cult but don't recognize the pattern of said cult? Great question. When you are in a relationship, you don't recognize the relationship interactions usually until you start identifying that, oh, that didn't feel good. What about that? Do some healing around that. And then you see differently. Now you're in the relationship, you see differently. And then you begin to say, oh my gosh, this is pathological, or this is abusive, or this is a cult. Yeah, you start to recognize the signs because you start to wake up and start saying no to what is not good for you. Deep six is a great, powerful declaration. And then you start seeing things, red flags you hadn't seen before. I had a friend, Sandra Brown, who is an amazing teacher and mentor and counselor about abuse relationships. And she was years ago working with women coming out of or trying to get out of abusive relationships, which might take years because they didn't recognize it. They'd get in pain, they'd come for counseling, she'd give them some help. Pretty soon, maybe after 10 years, they saw it all. It took a long time. But what was surprising to her is the courts in her area asked her if she would take some court not appointed, but when the courts require an abuser to be counseled to get help for himself. She thought about it and decided she would. She let the women in her practice, they would be coming in and out in the waiting room at the same time, and told them she was going to be doing this and for them to, but she would keep them as safe as possible. I mean, she would just do everything she could to keep them women safe. And what she found out was the women in the waiting room were making dates with these guys because they recognized the charismatic, oh my gosh, this must be the perfect one, so I'll try this guy. And when she said in group meeting, what are you women doing? These men are like what you're trying to get out of. And the women said, whoa, we didn't recognize the red flags. We didn't recognize it. We didn't know. So Sandra Brown wrote the book, How to Spot a Dangerous Man. That's how you recognize, you start learning. It's time.